Okay, what we're going to be talking about is the Work Ready certificate. And the procedure is actually pretty simple. There are 3 stages. Number 1 is the portfolio stage. And you're going to put together a portfolio. All of the information is online. I'm going to show you how to get to it. The second, after you've put your portfolio together, is the review stage, where I look over your portfolio, and if I like it and it's complete, I forward it to the county, and Dan Blake at the County Office of Education takes a look at it and approves it or rejects it. When we've submitted a portfolio, we've never had any rejected yet. And then the third is the interview. You'll be called out of class here during the day. You'll be interviewed by a couple of business people from the community. It'll look just like a job interview. And then you'll have a chance to interact and talk, and they're the ones who make the final decision. You either get it or you don't. Let's go over and on the interview thing, on the 23rd of this month, Ms. Kimmel from Empire College is going to be in here. She's going to do a lesson on job interviews, and she's got some real practical stuff. We'll schedule the job interviews, and then literally, let's say if we do job interviews on a Wednesday, Tuesday after school, I will meet in here with everybody doing the interview and go the do's and don'ts, review some things, talk about what to dress, how to wear, how to act. And if an interview scares you, you don't have to worry, because you will be prepared for that interview, okay, when you go in. So if you just go ahead and zoom up on the screen, I want to give you a website. The website is mycareerspace.biz. This is what you're going to need to go to. And when you get to mycareerspace.biz, see if I can, okay, good. Yeah, mycareerspace.biz. When you go to this website, right over here, there's a tab called Resources. And you're going to click on the Resources tab. And all the Work Ready resources are right here. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to click on this table of contents and cover sheet. Okay? And this right here tells you what you have to have in it. You have to have an application. I'm going to show you this. You've got to have a checklist, the adult role model form, worksite supervisor form, and a sample job application. Along with this, you also need to have a resume and a cover letter. So, where's the components checklist? It's right here. All right. This right here just goes over what all the skills are that you are trying to prove. You have to have the Work Ready. This down here will show you everything you need. You have to have, that's not working really well. You have to have the application and checklist, which is on this website. Sample job application, which is on the website. Now you had to do all of this for an in-class assignment anyway, so you should already have that. Cover letter and resume. You have to have at least one letter of recommendation. This is actually somebody writing to you. I am writing to recommend Juan Carlos to you because he's such an awesome guy, or whatever, just a regular recommendation. And then this isn't required, but any certificates, career-related instruction, or work samples. And at this point in the game, anything that you've got, even sports certificates, things like that, show that you've been involved in sports, you play in a team, you understand what it's like to relate to other people. School transcript and attendance records. This is highly recommended. I am going to say required. Okay, I'm not going to pass one through unless you have this. You go to the attendance office and get your attendance record, and then you go to the counselor. Everything you need to do is on the website. So, but just anything you can type it up. And if you can't type it up, write neatly. And yeah, that's that.
Sounds good.
Pretty simple.
Stop recording.
Okie doke. Kill the camera. If you have access to Aries, you may be able to print these off of Aries. I'm not sure if you can or not from what you guys can see. Okay? Okay, so we already saw the table of contents. Here's the application, and just like a job application, you fill this out completely. 100%, do not leave any blanks. Okay, name. I'm going to explain this right here, adult observer and worksite supervisor. I'm going to explain that in just a second. Sample job application. If you did this for an assignment, you typed it up, you should already have it in your notebook. Just put it in your portfolio. If not, it's all here on the web page. All right. These two forms, the worksite supervisor and the adult role model form, are exactly the same except for the title and a couple of things. So I'm just going to go over one of them. If you have a job, or even if you're volunteering with an organization, have at least one of these be your work supervisor form. Or you're going to put your information here, and then they're going to fill out the name, their title, organization, company, phone number, email. This is what the student does, type of work experience, okay, and from when they were observed. You don't have to do this. Somebody else is filling this out for you. And then what they're going to do is they're going to rate you basically 0 to 4 on all of these areas. This is those 15 skills that we talked about. The goal is to get proof in every area by either recommendation or by documenting it that you have these skills. For instance, if you've taken a computer science class, you would want to, your transcript will show that you took computer science, so you should have computer skills. You might have a person fill this out and say that you have computer skills. The idea is to get 3s or 4s on everything. Now, not everybody is going to be able to fill this out in its entirety, and I'm going to go over to the adult role model form, because if you haven't had a job, you want to use this form right here. And this is just someone in your life that you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be a role model, but just has to be an adult who can speak to your abilities, who knows you well up. No family members, okay? Try to stay away from family members. You get everybody with the same last name on there, there's a better chance that they're going to kick the application. You need to have 3 of these. 1 worksite supervisor and 2 adult role models, or 3 adult role model forms. What I would do, the problem that students have had in the past is they give these to adults and adults do not get them back to them in time. So if you have 5 or 6 adults that you can get these to, I would give these to as many adults as you possibly can. That way you pick the best 3 at the end and include them in your portfolio. Make sense? Components checklist, and pretty much everything here is outlined. Pretty simple putting this portfolio together. Just all of the components, everything filled out completely. I don't have a whole lot more to say because in years past I used to have to go over this step by step, but now everything is up online. So it's like I don't even have to give you paperwork. You can just fill it out and print it. Seem simple? So that's step 1. Step 1, I need back by May 1st. Okay, as long as I have it by May 1st, then I'll submit them. That way we can get this thing turned around and get interviews scheduled before the end of the school year. Questions? Pretty simple? Told you it'd be a quick meeting. Just kind of go over the paperwork, look through. If you're going through stuff, I would say if you have a question whether you want to include something or not, like a certificate, an award, or something like that, if you're not sure, include it. Because when I look over it, I could always say, you know, I know Juan Carlos, most awesome G.I. Joe collection certificate. Maybe we're not going to include that, or something along those lines. But I would include anything that you think is possibly relevant. Use the cover sheet and put it in some type of a, I mean, they will accept everything in a manila file folder, but go and spend $3-4 at Office Depot and get a presentation portfolio thing. It just makes it look all the nicer, and it lays everything out real nice. And that's really the whole thing. Simple, short as that. Questions?
I have a question.
Yep.
If maybe your transcript or your attendance record doesn't look absolutely amazing, is it going to affect you that
No,
much?
what happens is I will look at it, and here's an example. I had a student once, had a part of their junior year where attendance was awful. But then toward the beginning of their senior year, or when we were doing this, attendance was better. And I said, what was going on? And he was real honest. He said, my mom and dad were going through a divorce. I was mad. I wasn't coming to school. I was cutting school. I was doing stuff. And what I did is I said, okay, but you could tell that attendance was okay now. I tell people, write a letter of explanation. Explain why your attendance was bad right then, okay? This is not, again, this is work ready. So, I mean, if you're crashing and burning in trig, and that's on your transcript, that's not necessarily going to, put you out of the certificate. We're not looking for straight A students. We're looking for students who can prove that they have those 15 skills and abilities. And you don't have to be a straight A student to have those. So on the grades, now, if your whole high school existence you have tardies, you better have an employer who's saying you're always to work on time. Because if you can't have an employer or somebody fill that out that can vouch for you, always shows up on time, and we got a bunch of tardies in your transcript, that says you don't really have the ability to show up to work on time if you don't have the ability to show the school on time. Okay? So that's it. Well, my guess, most people who get into this process, who want to do the work ready certificate, don't have huge problems. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Anything else?
What's the name of the website again?
www.mycareerspace.biz. mycareerspace.biz. Go to the website, and then on the far right, click on the Resources tab, and that will bring you to this page, and it will tell you everything you want to know about the Work Ready certificate. And there's also some other just information down here, other lessons about job hunting skills. These are all like lesson plans for teachers, but if you wanted to take a look at some of those, that would be helpful.